Hi everybody, I'm back with another mini album to show you. This one I just made for a swap that I held on my blog this month. My swap partner was Trini, and this is the album I made her. The papers I used mostly was the K & Company Classic K Charlotte line. I used pretty much everything from that line except for, I think, one sheet of paper. And I made two of the albums. Here's the exact identical one, pretty much, about 99% the same, the two of them. One is for my swap partner, and I decided to make one at the same time for my mom. And so it took a lot longer to complete, but I'm kind of happy with the results. Okay, I'll start on the cover. This flower right here was part of a set I bought from Michael's. I'll show you. These were, I think, $2.99 for a pack of 6. Pretty nice. I put little stickles on it. And then I have two flowers here that are primas, this one and that one. And those are these here that I got at Michael's. I'm loving these flowers. I'm using a ton of them for different projects. And then these two flowers here, this little brown one and this pink one, I made myself. I cut some flowers out of my Cricut and crunched them up and distressed them. And this butterfly I bought from Michael's. And here's some Recollections bling. And this is a little hinge. I think it's a Making Memories hinge, because this cover has a little door on it. And this is actually a CD. It fit perfectly on there, so I just altered the CD. And I used a little Tim Holtz hitch fastener, which I really love those for little pull knobs. So I used that on there. And then around it here, I used a little bit of pearl trim. And there's stickles. Of course, you can't really see, or not stickles, but glimmer mist. You can't really see it. It's on the paper. It's a little bit shiny. And here's the inside. Got a little place for a picture here. And here's a little frame that I cut out on my Cricut. And I embossed it with the Tim Holtz Distress embossing powders, which are really neat. You know, most embossing powders kind of turn into kind of like a hard, slick surface. These gives you it's almost like a sandpaper surface, distressed surface, so you could feel it's kind of like a rough texture. So it's kind of cool. So I use that. And oh yeah, one more thing I want to show you on the cover is I used, and this might be kind of hard to see too, I used some tulle that I found in a remnant section at, I think it was Walmart, right here and right here. Just kind of put a little bit of that in there. And then I used another little trim to go around the side on the outside here. Okay, so that's the cover. And on the inside, here's the first page. I did some more cutting out stuff from my Cricut, these little designs, and this little hinge flap thing. This came from the Fabulous Finds cartridge, which I really love. You don't really hear much about that cartridge, but it's one of my favorites. So I made that with that. And then when you open it up here, I got a little photo mat right in here. It's got another I used some distress inks on a Tim Holtz stamp, which is kind of neat. The distress embossing powder I used on that. So that's that. And then this thing opens up 3-way like that. And I got a little Prima flower here. And then on this side here, I used a couple of more Prima flowers. I usually get just the white ones. Here's a big, huge jar of 72, and they're all white, so I got them at Hobby Lobby, I think. And these are great because what I do is I get these little acrylic paints. You can get the different brands, you know, they're cheap. They're like 50 cents to a little bit over $1. And I'll just paint my Prima flowers, and then sometimes I'll emboss them with some UD, and they come out great. And you can pretty much match whatever colors you're using in your album. And if I have a color, I don't have to get like every shade of pink to kind of match it up. What I do is I just get maybe a real dark shade and a light shade, and then if I need to make it lighter, I'll use like this here, this linen color, or I'll use white, and I'll just kind of blend them in until I get the color that I want to have for it. Okay, and over here, got this little tag that I made. And I just recently got a Cuddle Bug, which I'm loving, and I made this tag out of it. I ran it through the Cuddle Bug, this side and this side here. And then I used the Versamark pad, and I kind of lightly rubbed the raised edges, and then I embossed that too. I think you can see that a little bit. So there's that tag, and I stamped and embossed on the inside a little bit. So that's that page. And then over here, I took one of those little paper doilies, and I painted it again with the acrylic paints, kind of blended in some different colors I thought would match. Put a couple of flowers here, a little decoration. This thing, for some reason, is not sticking. I have to glue that down again. And on this frame here, I put some of the Martha Stewart clear glass beads, which are kind of nice to give it a nice texture. So I used that on there. And then on this side, I used another one of those white Prima flowers, and with this one, I just rubbed the raised edges with my peeled paint Distress ink, kind of give it a nice color. And then I cut this little bird out on my Cricut. And then this right here is some of that Tim Holtz grunge paper, which is really cool. It's like flexible chipboard. And I have a little magnet in there to kind of hold this down. And all it is kind of like a little paper bag album on the inside. And I've got some little tags in it. And this paper here, this is the only sheet that doesn't come in that K & Company line. So it's just a kind of like a little mini inside of a mini. That one. And then flip the page over here. Now I made a little pocket. I cut out some chipboard and I painted it, and I put some stickles on it. I don't know if you could see the shine or not. And then I used some of that tulle to make a little pocket, and I put some ribbon trim on it. And then here I used my Cuttlebug, the Paisley embossing folder, and I cut out 3 little frames from my Cricut and distressed them on this side. A little place for a picture and some journaling. And here I just used some ribbon and a little bit of that pearl trim that I have on the cover, and then just stuck another little flower. Made that, and it sticks right in there. Then over here is a real simple page, just kind of a glittery frame, place for a picture. And right here I used a Martha Stewart punch. It's kind of cute. It's kind of a 3D punch. And then over here I just made a little pull-out frame here. Did some stamping on it, and then I put ribbon around the edge. There, you can kind of see it. And then over here I made a little pocket, and I used another Martha Stewart punch. You see it's got like 3 layers on it there. And here's a little pull-out spot for journaling or for a picture. And that's it. And then I just bound it with some ribbon. That's it. I hope you like it. Thanks.